Hey everybody, welcome to the Rustic South. This is Sherry. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much if you're new. Welcome. Hey, today we're going to make a star candle holder you see on screen out of an old oatmeal container. Okay. So there's really no measuring this, but what I'm showing you on screen is where the seams are. Let's cut that out because you don't really want that. Although the leftover container is going to be, on the back side of the candle holder, but you don't want that. You don't want to see that. We are going to paint it and put napkins and so forth on it, but I opt to cut it out. But you could leave it in. I guess it could be a little more of a stabilizer if you wanted to. But so I make an arch as you see on screen. I draw some arches and then I go from there tailoring it down to the size that I want. Right now I have a larger candle, so depending on what kind of candle you have that you want to put in it, if you're just going to use a tea light, then you want to make it much shorter probably. If you're going to use a candlestick, then of course get it out and see what you think. Go from there, right? Same thing with a pillar candle. So I'm using a larger pillar candle. It's I would say they're probably 8 inches. I don't really know. I'm not sure if they say, but mine has a timer on it, so you don't have to always mess with it, and it comes with a remote, I think. So then cut off around the top. You don't want that edge banding on the top either. And then I just draw, the good old star that we learned in elementary school on the inside of the container, right? And we're going to go from there. So draw your star, or maybe you want to put a heart on it. Maybe you want to cut some other shape out of it, right? Maybe you want to do a cow or something different, right? So you come up with it, with what you want to put on there, and then you're going to go about cutting it out, right? Whatever shape you decide. Whatever you do decide to use to cut it out with, please make sure that it's very sharp, okay? Because if not, you're going to get jagged edges, which could lend to the character, but it's up to you, right? So as you see me sharpening my X-Acto knife, it was kind of being jaggedy. So I would say make it sharp and be super duper careful, right? Because you're talking very sharp instruments here. So be ultra careful when you're cutting these out. And then once you get the initial cuts in, then you could probably go in with a pair of scissors that have the smaller blades and probably cut them. Cut it to be more precise. But you're going to have to use your best judgment on that, okay? Now for the project today, we're going to need an oatmeal container, small or large, whatever you have, whatever you decide works best for you, and also depending on your candle. If you're going to have a smaller candle, then you might have a smaller container too, then you don't have to cut out as much. Now here I'm using the Waverly green. I have taken it outside and I've spray painted the entire thing white. It was just easier that way, and I left no brush marks. So I did spray paint my entire thing white. So that's up to you. And then I'm going to use the Moss Waverly in the green color today, or Waverly's Moss, to paint the front and back and the bottom, around the edge. So I left a little lip around the edge on the bottom, right? When you cut off the other part of the container, I do leave a lip on the bottom. Sorry about that. So yeah, so leave a lip on the bottom and then paint your entire thing whatever color you're going to do. Now you might want to do 2 different colors. Okay, so let me tell you here, my intention was originally to try to make this crackle. Now I've done this several times, and I would say 8 times out of 10, I'm very successful at making the crackling. Now this time, it kind of worked. I think the area was a little bigger, and I was, nervous. I was trying to make it, do it the correct, proper way, right? Because I'm doing it on a video. So it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to, but what it did do is I used Mod Podge. You could use school glue. You could use whatever glue you have. This is probably the part that I messed up because I was just trying to help it get tacky or get to that tacky stage sooner. But I don't think it worked in my favor. But what it did do was it gave me, along with the white chalk paint that I'm using, gave me a wood grain effect, which in the end turned out to be awesome. So because I put on the inside of the candle holder, I'm going to use a napkin that looks like birch wood. So the outside of it, looking like wood, fell right into my hands by mistake. So the crackling didn't necessarily work the way I wanted it to. I got a little crackle, but not as much as I was hoping. So that was what I was trying to do. You guys run with whatever you think works best for you. If you can do crackle awesomely, then do crackle. I don't know. I like crackle, but I don't do it a whole lot. And my hair dryer being on high heat, I don't know if that helps it or doesn't help it. If anybody has any comments on, if they are very successful with crackle, if you could leave me a comment and give me some suggestions, that would be super awesome, and I would so appreciate it. And by the way, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed lately, who's been watching my videos and liking my videos and sharing. It's very helpful and so appreciated. And I'm just showing you a quick snippet of the end result of the inside. So it turns out awesomely cool. There's the napkins I end up using. I found those at Home Goods on clearance, oddly enough, I think back in December. So I'm going to use this on the inside of the candle holder. So I'm painting Mod Podge on there. And the napkin, when you unfold it, it has a line that goes across the middle, kind of where I tore it there. And I don't like that, right? It doesn't look natural. So that's like the perfect spot to tear the napkin apart. And then when you go to lay it inside here, just overlap it a little, and you don't even see that brownish line across the middle anymore because it disappears because of the tearing. So that's what I did with mine. You guys could put all kinds of napkins on the inside, right? I'm sure most of you guys have napkins at home if you craft quite often. You probably do. They're quite popular. Or you could use scrapbook paper as well, right? A lot of us have scrapbook paper. So and if you've never done this, it's really quick to do, very easy to do. So see, I overlap it just barely, but whenever I ripped it, and of course try to line up your lines for the logs, if you will, for the wood when you put them back together to make it look, more cohesive. So yeah, glue it all in on the inside. And you can put it on the outside too if you want. You could put it on the back side. You wouldn't have to worry about painting it or crackling it or what have you. But I was trying to do two different kind of looks, because you could turn it when you put the candle on it in the end. You can turn it either way. You can turn it facing the open part facing, or you can turn it where you just see the star and the candle when it's on glowing through the shape that you put in it, right? So I was just trying to give it two different looks. And here I'm just using water on my paintbrush to wet down the inside of that so it's easy to remove it. Try to get away from any jagged tears. Again, it lends to the character of it anyway, so, you know, do what you will. It will come out gorgeous. So when you get done doing this part, you may have to go back and touch up some Mod Podge around the edges, just so you don't have any jaggedy pieces, you know. Now it's coffee stain time. So yeah, so I get out my coffee stain, which I have the recipe in my community tab. You can go over there and find the recipe over there. So I paint it on quite thick, and I do get my brush way down in the bottom to get that stuff that always hangs out on the bottom of the coffee stain bottle. Okay, it's, you know, cinnamon, and I don't know. I don't even know how it gets down there other than it's just being cinnamon, but it stains up the outside of this so awesomely. So you can see where the wood grain look comes into play here, right? When I painted brown, it really gets in those grooves of the paint, which, you know, also was an effect of the Mod Podge that I put on before. So, you know, it all did work together, the Mod Podge and the paint. So it all worked in my favor in the end. Now, again, I think I did like 2 coats of the coffee stain. So what I did was I painted on first, pretty liberally. You know, you don't want it dripping everywhere, but be careful because it will drip through onto the inside if you're not careful. But again, it adds character. It doesn't. It's not, for mine. It's not a big deal because the inside of mine has wood napkin, so it kind of just lends itself to being, you know, in the picture already. But I do blow dry it. So if you paint it on, you know, wipe off the excess, get out the hair dryer, blow dry it, do it again. It will just continue to get darker, right? It will continue to turn darker each time you add more, okay? So keep that in mind, how dark you want it if you're going to coffee grunge. So there is some good crackle there. It's better than I thought it was, but it also looks like tree bark, which is what I ended up saying it was. See how jagged the one leg of the star is? So that's what you know, I told you when you're cutting it out, make sure your stuff is, look how cute. Look how, I'm sorry, make sure your X-Acto knife is very sharp, okay? But from a distance, you're not going to be seeing the jaggedy part. So here we're going to grunge up around the star. And see how dark it turned out to be after you let it dry. You do a couple of coats on the outside there. So yeah, so I'm just using my black stamp pad to highlight the shape that we cut in it. So I'm going to do it on the inside and the outside. So have you guys ever made one of these before? This is, I think, my 4th one I've made. I like to put these in the bathrooms and have the timers come on at night. You know, for those of us who get up in the middle of the night and, you know, walk around so we're not tripping over the dog and so forth. So yeah, I like to put them in the halls and in the bathrooms, and I like to put it in areas like that so that when the timer, you know, goes off. Here I'm highlighting inside, you know, where the grain is, where the log grain would be, not the grain, but, you know, where the separate logs would be, and around the edge, of course. But if you've made these before, leave me a comment and tell me where you put these. And share a picture if you want. So when we get doing this part, so this will be done here with a second with doing this part. So next I'm going to, I had grunged up some socks. If you guys have never grunged up socks, if you've grunged up like tea towels with, you know, the coffee grunge, the tea, you know, the coffee stain. I also do socks. Sometimes I'll buy them at Dollar Tree. They're cheap, obviously. And you can cut off the tops of them and use them, you know, as candle covers. So that way I don't have to always grunge up my candles. So that's what I'm going to do here in a second. Is we're going to get out the candle, and I'm going to get out the grungy sock. That here's the sock. So I've already used the top part of the sock, so now we're going to cut off the heel and the toe of this sock, and we're going to use it as the candle cover. Okay. If you've never done this, it's very easy to do. Just like you would a tea towel, right? Just make the coffee stain, throw it in, and you can either put them in the oven if that's your desire. It will make, you know, dark and light spots, maybe even, you know, get crusty in a few places. Or you can put them outside and let the sun do its thing. I prefer to let the sun do its thing. So also, so now we're covering the candle. And next I'm going to be showing you these small wreaths, I guess it is. Oh, and we're going to add some homespun. Definitely add some homespun. I haven't added almost homespun in a while, so here's a little homespun today. Hobby Lobby has their fabrics on sale this week, so you might want to run over there if you don't have any, if you need fabrics. In a second here, I'm going to show you a styrofoam ring. So what I want to do when I place it on the candle holder, I'm going to elevate it a little bit. Just setting it on there like that. It's okay, but it needs some, for me it needs a little something. So there's a styrofoam ring that my husband had given me, and I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it. Now, remember, spray paint and styrofoam don't typically go very well. I mean, it's okay. It will just disintegrate a little bit as you're spray painting it, right? But I spray painted it dark brown. I threw loads of cinnamon on it, and then I spray painted it with the finishing spray that helps the cinnamon stick. So I'll show you that in a minute, but here I took one of these small wreaths from Hobby Lobby, and I'm cutting off the outside vine of it so that I can open up those strands and wrap it around the candle. The candle needs a little more embellishment, you know, it needs a little more pizzazz. And it also goes along with the theme that I'm using on the candle holder, right? The wood theme. So I'm just cutting off the outside, and then we're going to, you know, pull it open a little more. I think you could get these, like, I think they come in a set of like 4 to 6 or something like that at Hobby Lobby. Now mine is out of it currently at the moment, but I guess these are grapevines, I think is what these are, right? So loosen it up big enough to go around your candle if you're going to, you know, use this. It's actually easier than it looks. I just kept setting it down, and it kept going back to the same size again. Okay, and then back to the styrofoam thing. So yeah, so I'm going to use that on the bottom to set the candle on, to give it a little more height and a little more interest on the bottom. Or you can just use the wreath that we just cut open. If, you know, you can always loosen it, cut it open like we did, loosen it, and then retie it, you know, at a certain point, like in the back side, and put it on the bottom, just around the bottom of your candle if you want. And that can be done if you want to put interest on the bottom of your candle, depending what kind of candle you're using, right? So but I'm using, you'll see in a second, this styrofoam ring. And if you don't have the styrofoam ring and you want to use something like that, if you have an old lid laying around from a jar or something that can help elevate it, give it a little more interest along the bottom, spray paint it, you know, you can do that. You could put a hang tag on it. You could glue a rusty star or 2 on it. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll give it a try. There's the inside. And that's the back side when you put the candle in it. You see it from the back side. Here's the front side with the candle in it on. Here it is on my shelf. And now I do currently have it facing backwards like this on my shelf right now, like that. And it looks very good. I hope you guys give it a try. Please like, subscribe, and share. As always, thank you. Bye.